welcome back. This is episode 11 of Real Talk, Realtor Mama Edition. I took a little break for a while and I'm back with my friend, fellow business owner, Brandon DeShields. He owns the gym that I joined about a year ago in West Grove, Morpht Fitness. So, my last episode, I actually left off with an Amish business owner. So, this is like complete other end of the spectrum here. But a business owner is a business owner, and hustle is hustle either way. I really love hearing about people's stories and how they built their business. So that's why I got you on here today. So welcome. Thank you for being here with me.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
This is going to be a totally different Brandon probably because at 6 a.m. this morning, Brandon was kicking my ass in the gym.
Yeah,
And he
definitely
don't
different.
take no shit in the gym. So, but this is my house over here now.
Perfect. I'm with you. I'm riding. I'm in the car.
All right, cool. So, a little bit about Brandon, and then I'm going to let him introduce himself. You might hear my baby in the other room, guys. And like I said, this is real talk. I'm literally recording this episode at home today with my sick baby in the other room. She's home from school today. So, don't mind the background noise. But anyway, so I joined Brandon's gym about a year ago. And my baby was a year and a half old at that time. And I was in the worst, like, shape of my life, worst mental state ever. And if you are a woman who has had children, you know how it is trying to get yourself back afterwards. So I'm 5 foot tall. I was 200 pounds. So just like it was a lot.
No, that.
Going back to my friend had found your gym online, and I came from when I was in the best shape of my life in 2021, right before I got married, I was doing strength training and everything. So when I came out here to Chester County, I didn't want to go to a Planet Fitness or something. So my friend found your gym, and it actually took me a while to even come in because I was nervous. I had to gather up the courage to even get back into the routine, meet new people, and all of that. Um, so Brandon opened this gym in what, 2021?
Yeah, I got the keys December 23rd, 2021. So it was a light Christmas that year.
And what is amazing is right before this, you got released from prison in 2020 in the middle of COVID, right? After serving, what was it, 7 years?
7 years.
So it's like something like 75, 76% of men who are incarcerated end up going back to jail within 5 years of being incarcerated. They end up going back to jail. So we're 5 years out
Yeah.
from your release date,
Yeah.
and you are on the whole other track. So I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your gym, and where you're at now, and then we're going to kind of go back a little bit.
All right. So as you said, I'm Brandon. Most people just call me B, but you can call me Brandon or B. Either one is fine. Lived a pretty regular life growing up. Besides, realizing like your upbringing is a little different than other people's, especially like the neighborhood you live in. And, you at school, there's so many different diverse people at school. So I learned early that we were not in a good, position. I found out we were like impoverished, and I always wanted to do something, right, to try to get myself out of that. Tried a lot of different things, like the average person, young man that has no guidance, gets into the streets, did the street stuff, got high every day, drunk every weekend, think you need to go to a bar, a club. And then like, most, black men in that position or people that live in that particular type of culture, prison becomes a rite of passage. So got into that. While away, got introduced to working out because everyone knows like when you go to jail, you're gonna work out. Like that's you're about to work out.
You don't got really much else to do, I
Yeah, to
guess.
read and work out. Work your mind out, work your body out. At least that's how I chose to do it. Got into that really. I'm really studious. I love studying. I love learning. So did that. Wanted to be a trainer, but I only wanted to be a trainer because I'm gonna use this as the platform to own the gym. I'm a person that if there's a height, like a top thing to reach, I'm going for that. I'm not about to be like the regular person. Like it could have been me working at McDonald's. I'm gonna be a McDonald's exec. I'm gonna be up there with them. I can't just be regular. I feel like 99% of people on earth are busting their ass to be regular, or busting their butt,
Right.
excuse me, to be regular. Let
Let
me,
me first hear
let
it.
me, okay, let me do that, use that same effort just to not be regular. And it's fine for them. I just don't want it for myself. So yeah, did that, where I am right now because of my habits. I have a different type of habits than I was shown when I grew up. You're just not shown money management. You're not shown time management.
Yeah.
You're not shown respect for other people's time, respect for other people's stuff, respect for your own time, your own stuff. And I realized, like, if that's how you are in poverty and you stay in poverty by doing those things, then maybe if I reversed it, I'll get the opposite effect. And it's been working so far.
So you said you didn't have much guidance. What was your family dynamic? Did you have a father figure? Did you have a role model?
I met my pop like in fourth grade once. Then I met him again. I was like 15, and he was cool. He's still, I mean, to this day, he's still cool, and I love him. He gives me a lot of great advice. Anytime I need something, he says I'm the smartest person in the family, but I still like to go to him to talk to him about, because I'm a
I
father.
know that you believe that too.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
that
like,
you wholeheartedly believe that.
I just, I,
It's just
I think
cool.
I'm all right. I think I just know enough about a wide variety of things to be able to converse with whoever. Um, yeah, had met him at fourth grade, not again until like ninth grade. My role models growing up was Jay Z, Jadakiss, Fabulous. That's serious.
Yeah, for real.
Jay was like, and I talk about him like I met him before. I'm this serious. Like they were like my big brothers. So if any of your viewers like know who they are, you'll be able to see all three of their personalities in my, because I'm a young kid. I don't know how to be yet. I just see these three guys and they're saying stuff that resonates with me. Like I wasn't one of those guys that wanted to hear people like rappers shoot up somebody every day because I know that that's stupid. I'm like, you're not gonna make no money from that, and you're not about to be free from that. So I was get money ball. So that's
How old were you when you were locked up and you have two children as well?
yeah.
So how old were they?
Bishop had just turned 7. Braden was 1. So I got arrested when Braden was like a month old, and posting bails and all that stuff throughout the legal system. You can only like continue it for so much time. Continued it for like a good year, just like coming up with excuse after excuse, and you get to a point where they're like, all right, you know, time to go in. So yeah, it was my time, and it was going to start with me. They offer all these things like cooperation and you to all that stuff like telling on people and all that good stuff. But I was just like, I'm already watching my family be divided with this,
Yeah.
right? Like, and that's just to me, that's just not a solid thing to do. I can't tell my sons to take accountability for your actions if I don't, right? If it don't start with me, you see what I'm saying? So I chose to do what I did, right? That wasn't a mistake. I hear a lot of guys say, "Oh, it was a mistake," or "I did this as a mistake." Trapping is not a mistake.
No, it
It's
has
super
zero.
deliberate, right? And I don't care what nobody says. That's super deliberate.
Absolutely.
If you make an excuse for it, then you're not taking accountability, and you'll never be successful. I promise you. The whole setup is deliberate. So I made no mistakes. I made no mistake. I tell anyone this my entire life. I've never done anything wrong either. Everything I did got me to the point that I'm at now. Show me
Absolutely.
what
I
right.
I agree.
Nothing right. None of it was a mistake. None of it was wrong. It was supposed to be this way.
I have a very similar outlook. Like I've been through some messed up shit and I made some really bad decisions that I to this day, my daughter's calling me right now. That I to this day still feel guilty about. But if none of that stuff happened, I wouldn't have learned from it. So, how old were you? How old were you when you
I
went in?
was 25 when I got arrested. I was 26 when I got sentenced.
And when you got sentenced, did you know how long you were going to be there for? Like when you were getting out for sure?
No, they had originally said I was going to do 5 years. We had initially agreed on like a 5 year term because they were like, you can't get out of it because it was gun and drugs. So even though I own the guns, you know, and they found out I legally owned them. You can't, at that time, you couldn't possess like any drugs with something legal. So they say like the most like will come down is 5 years. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm in court, and the co-defendant I had at the time, he does whatever he does. He takes whatever plea he takes, and it makes me guilty automatically. Once he takes his plea, and the stuff they question him on absolutely like seals my fate, and it's like, it's pretty much written from that point.
Did he know what he was doing?
I mean, I can only assume he knew what he was doing. He really, I mean, he was actually doing, and I love him. He was my cousin. He was my cousin. He's not alive anymore, but he he did what I feel like he felt like what most people do, and that's self preservation, right? They save themselves first, right, and then they'll think about stuff after the fact. So he wasn't. I can tell he just went to save himself, and I'm like, that's cool. I still love him, right? I still love him to this day. When he passed, I cried at his funeral, all of that stuff because I love him. I grew up, and I realized, like, what? I can't be mad at him.
Because you still did what you did, and you
I
still
felt
made.
bad because I put him in it. Right? None of my family knew about this life until I introduced it to them because we're poor. I get all the guys. I tell all the girls, like, yo, that's another thing. My family calls me the ringleader. They're like, he gets everybody to do all this stuff he wants them to do. So
Well,
all the
now that
girls,
energy is focused in a better
yeah,
direction.
brother, I always had this. The same way I am in the job, I've always had this. So all the girls, I tell the girls, like, y'all take y'all butts to school, y'all get education, all that, and I get all the guys because, of course, I got no guidance. I got nobody to tell me, put your energy to this. I'm thinking I need the trap. So I get all the boys together. I'm like, look, we about to get this money out here, right? Like, I got the plug. We're going to do this, that. I'm going to set everybody up in position. Cool. And then we're going to just move that way. And, it lasted for some time. Some of them chose to be consumers of any drug. I'm not that. I'm a
Yeah.
producer. I need to produce a thing, but that's just my mind, right? So yeah. So I was 25 arrested, 26 at sentencing. We agreed on 5 years. I get in court, and that's when I learned like the judge has the ultimate say when it comes to that stuff. So the judge didn't like that they were giving me such a deal. It's my first time being arrested at that. So he didn't like that I was getting a deal. The deal was 5 years. I'm like, this ain't a deal. This is 5 years gone.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily agree with that. So he was just like, no. Like he rejected the deal. They, with a stroke of a pen, just circled consecutive and scribbled out concurrent. And just like that, got 7 years, got 2 more years added on right there for not cooperating or anything like that by following the rules of the code of the street and all that. I got an extra 2 years away from my sons, 2 years extra, taken away from life and all that. But I was like, you know what? Nobody's going to jail for me. Going to have this same thing happen to their family, like that's going on with mine. And
So
I was like,
your mindset going in, you were already on a positive mindset. You knew you wanted to turn things around. You knew you
no,
wanted to come out different, or what?
no. I was like, I'm going in here. Everybody leave me the hell alone. Like, don't bother. I used to be really skinny actually, but I used to have a really bad like temperament. So like because I was skinny, I was skinny, but I was still tall. But I was all, I felt like I'm him, like so. I get booked. They send me to this, the state prison. They give you a number, but then they ask you like, where do you want your body sent? And that changed me. That like they're like, you can die here. I'm like you really
It's
gotta
like a routine thing. They're real nonchalant about it.
right, real talk. You gotta give them an answer. You gotta give them an address to what to do with your body if someone kills you, or if you fall down the steps and die. If you never wake up out of your sleep. And I was like, no. So no, I was on my bullshit. Real talk. Like the phones are the biggest thing that people beef over. So I'll be at the phone with the pen and the lock and the sock. They're just your weapons of choice when you're
Yeah.
in there. I'm at the phone with the lock and the sock and the pen. I used to have my little man with me. He was my celly. I have him there looking like he's about that life, but he just wasn't about that. I'm like, bro, just look like it, right?
Yeah.
Throw a mean mug on and just stand there, look like you got my back. It's all good. But
You
yeah, I
gotta
was really on.
constantly have it's a whole like I'm sure I can't even imagine what the transition is like coming out of there into the real world again. Because I'm sure like for a certain amount of time at least you constantly have your guard up. You're
Yeah,
constantly
so I prepared myself for it. So my first couple years, you're just going through the motions over and over, just going through the motions, doing what everybody else is doing, calling their girl, acting like a nut over the phone if they don't pick up, and whatever the case is. Like I'm doing what everybody else is doing. And then one day a man brings something to my attention and I'm like woken up by it. It just woke me up. And it showed me like life isn't as hard as we might think it is, but it also isn't as easy as we might want it to be. And from there, I kind of was on this journey. That was 2017. That was after January because I got transferred from Greatersford. I'm sorry, from Camp Hill down to Greatersford. And I did like 3.5 years, a little over 3.5 years at Camp Hill. I do the rest of my time in Greaterford. But I get down Greaterford and I'm noticing stuff is different. Like not just the facility, but myself. Like I notice, like I'm looking at things different. Like my perspective is changing on a lot of things now. Like my views on things are changing. This man showed me a thing. This man showed me something. He showed me that he said, "Yo, your mind is powerful. Most people don't pay attention to it to know that it is. You'll do a thing with your mind and you believe it's a coincidence. So it's a coincidence to you. And you'll never, you can't express a power you don't know that you have pretty much. So, yeah. And I just was like, damn, I need to, I used to be in the church heavy,
Is he the guy
reading
that you told me about that book that one the mastery what is it? What's it called?
the Master
Mastery.
Key System. So he recommended that book to me and I was like, all right, cool. I'm coming from smoking blunts every day and all this. My mind is not ready to hear this stuff.
Right.
So I wasn't absorbing, I wasn't retaining information. And so about 4, about 4 years later, I'm at the point, it's September 2017, and I'm like fried. I can't do any more time. I'm like done. I called my youngest son's mom. We had been going through a situation and all that, and she's telling me like she can't do any more time. Like she's gonna go. She gotta live her life. And I'm like, I'm not mad at her, but I'm doing all the baby pleas and all that stuff and all that, trying to quote scripture and all that. But when a person is done, they're done. And you can't expect these people to do the same thing. They don't know how to do time with people. The same
Right.
way you don't know how to do time when you get there. It's your first time. You don't know it either. Um, so she was like, yeah, I just can't do it. I'm like, I'm out. And I was like, damn, I was sick.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here, bro. I'm not doing no more time. I'm clocking out this joint. So I started planning to do a suicide by cop. And I'm so not a procrastinator. I'm planning this and I'm doing this the same day. Like I'm not a procrastinator. I'm
Yeah.
gonna think thoroughly on this and I'm getting to work. And that's it. So I'm planning to attack this one officer. And he's actually really chill. He's just a big guy. He's a really big guy. Not like muscular build, just a big
Why'd you
solid.
pick him?
Because he's a big guy. And I knew how to get him in the cell. The rest of them, you can't get in the cell like that. Him in particular, if you have something hung in your cell, like on the bed or on the window, he'll come in and pull it down. So I was like, I know I can get him in the cell. I don't want to attack him on the tier because you run the risk of other guys, like other uh, inmates coming to help or other staff coming to help. And so I'm like, I'm going to get him in the cell because the way their radios work, if their radios are tipped for so long, it'll make like a sound and let them know like, yo, this person's down or something. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get him. He worked 2 to 10 shift, and I'm talking like he was so cool too. Like he was one of those guys like, don't bother me. I'm not gonna bother you. Like don't have
Did you
something
plan
hung
to
up.
really hurt him? Were you planning to really hurt him or just enough to
No,
set
just
them
enough for
free?
them to I just wanted them to see like to feel like I wasn't gonna let him go and that his life was gonna be threatened, and I
Yeah.
knew that his life in that situation superseded mine.
Mm-hmm.
So they would absolutely take mine in order to save him. So
Mm.
I was like, cool. So I'm planning this. I'm like, this is what's going to happen. I'm doing that just like this. I hang the sweatshirt up on the bunk. So I'm on the top bunk. I hang the sweatshirt on the bottom, like the foot part of my bunk, so it drapes down because I know he's going to come in. I call my mom, I'm like, yo, I love you and all that stuff. And just to call and just like, hey, I just want to call you, Ty, I love you and all that. I was thinking about you, that type of stuff. And she's just, I think moms have this thing. I promise you, moms have this thing. She was just like, I hope everything's all right. Like I was thinking about you, and you're almost done. You're almost done. You're over halfway done. You'll be home in no time. And I'm thinking like, I'm gonna be home, all right. Y'all about to get me out this box. And yeah, so I have my moment because I'm thinking about what the world's gonna be like for my sons without their dad. Because at this time I don't understand the importance that dads have, like the
Yeah, of
role
course. You
that
didn't
men
have to.
have.
Didn't have
Yeah,
to.
I didn't
You were a
understand it.
kid.
So I go up to the cell and I'm waiting for the 2 o'clock shift. But once they switch to 2 o'clock, you gotta wait until shift change. Shift change is usually until like quarter after two. So it's like 2:15, 2:20. Anybody that of your viewers that know this, they know like what I'm saying is like a solid thing. So I'm up there waiting for this. You ever wait for something and it's taking forever to get there? I'm like, yo, well, 2 o'clock? Like, get here already.
Yeah.
And but I'm reading this book. It's called The Master of Destiny by James Allen. And in that book, he just says like, you did it. Whatever is going on in your life, you did that. If things are going good, you did that. If things are going bad, you did that. Right? Stop blaming God. Stop blaming Satan. If none of that stuff is going on, it's just you. You're doing that stuff. And you're looking for someone to blame it on. Instead, just blame it on you. So if you're homeless, guess what? You did that. Because you can get out of it and you're going to choose to stay in it. You're in prison. Guess what? You did that too. You can go home, and once you're home, you can stay home. And guess who stayed home? You did. You put the work in. Stop giving the thanks to everything else, or stop giving the blame to everything else, and take accountability for your shit. And I was like, he's right. But by the time I realized it's like three something, they done been had shift change, they didn't call count time, or I'd have missed my moment.
Because you were reading that book.
But I came out of that. I came out of this cell like totally different because I learned then that's I got to take accountability for my stuff, and
And that was
accountability is
kind of your
hard.
like moment. I feel like that you were able to like take the power of your mind and like
Yeah,
start that whole mindset shift.
yeah, real talk. Because before that, when I got off the phone with my mom, I went and got in the shower. So I'm like, let me make sure my body's clean. All that. Go get in the shower. I got this little like 5x7 mirror. I'm in there shaving, but I'm in there bawling my eyes out. I'm in there crying hard as hell.
Yeah.
And I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and it made me laugh. I was like, boy, you ugly as hell right now, bro. Yo, I promise you.
Shut up.
Yo, I see myself in the mirror. I'm butt ass naked in the shower crying like a damn R&B dude from the 90s.
Listen, this is crazy because that ain't even the Brandon. I can't even imagine
Yeah,
the
real
Brandon
talk.
I know
Real talk.
saying anything like that about himself.
Yeah, I'm such a transparent person. And that's why I told you before, like, I'm a truth sayer. When I say stuff to people, you feel it. You're like, damn, nobody would tell this type of stuff if it wasn't legit. Real talk, I'm in the shower crying. Like I'm talking bawling, tears from both inside and outside the eyes. And I catch a glimpse of how ugly I look. And I'm like, bro, you hit right now. And I laughed. And I was like, damn. And it started to change me from there. And
Yeah.
it was like the Brandon that was in that moment was so hurt that another Brandon inside said, yo, we gotta protect him. And it took that Brandon away. And it now another one has the light. And it says like this one's strong enough to do this stuff. And it put the Brandon that everybody sees, this is the one that took over and said I'm the actual protector of the original.
And this, I know this moment that you had. I mean, and for people listening, like this moment doesn't mean like you wake up the next day and everything's different and you're different. It means you just are starting you start in your whole mindset shift journey, and you have to start building those habits, and you have to make yourself do those things. So as you were talking, I realized we have a lot in common that I didn't realize. So when you're in fourth grade, you're about what, 12 years old, 11?
I think like 9, 10, or
Really?
10 or 11, one of the two.
So I met my dad for the first time. Well, I had my dad met me when I was a baby. Let's just say that. Obviously, I don't remember. He was around for a little bit, and he always lived like one town over. So like it's not like he was somewhere off. He was in the streets, he was doing his thing. He wasn't worried about me. I have like 13 brothers and sisters. Like I only met a couple of them before. So anyway, I was his second kid. My mom had me when she was a teenager and whatever. So I met him when I was about 10, 11, 12, something like that. And I met him because he was doing a bit in jail, and I guess he had all these child support things on him, and that was like part of the reason why they weren't letting him out or something. And he started writing me letters. He got in touch with my mom, started writing me letters, and it was kind of like acting like he wanted to build that relationship or whatever. Long story short, he got my mom to drop the child support stuff, and that was the last thing he needed to get out of jail. And after that, he shows up at my door because he had promised me that he was going to start this relationship and everything. And he showed up at my door, and I remember opening the door one day, and I was like, "Oh God!" It was like seeing myself as a black man.
Yeah.
Weird. It was wild. Like, and so, but it was just like a ton of emotions too. So like up until this point, I had been angry at him. I had been sad. I had been everything. Whatever. He was around for a little bit, and then he dipped, and then it was in and out for a few years. And I just say all that to say, like, he was part of that 76% of men that was in and out of jail. He never So many people just can't ever get out of that life, that mindset. And he's got kids running around. He don't even really know any of them like that. And I think it's really honorable what you've done, especially in the past 5 years, but for your children as well, because you got out and you showed up. And I'm sure that that relationship, I mean, I don't know, boys are different and guys are different. So I don't know, like, how was that, like, were you keeping a relationship throughout your?
Yeah, so every month, and I commend my youngest son's mom, man. Like she made sure I see my sons every month, birthdays, all of that. So I love her for that, and she always knows like I'm gonna make sure you're all right as much as I possibly can. I'm a person that like knowledge and advice is gonna go farther than some sort of money, because if you get money and don't know what to do with it, like that's like having a car and nowhere to go. See what I'm saying? It doesn't really serve you a purpose. You need to be informed about something and get some knowledge about something and then apply that stuff, because we're paid for what we do with what we know. Not actually necessarily just doing something, but you know how to do a thing. So I'm trying to, give as much advice as I can while I'm in there trying to be a dad. And you don't have to be. And that was actually my benefit, that I didn't have to be dad. It was suspended. I don't have to be dad.
How did they handle it?
That you wouldn't even have known. Braden had known me to be there forever.
Yeah.
I'd been there his entire life. Bishop, he knew me. Bishop was his mom and I together until he was about 2. We separated because we were really young. Get him when he's about almost 3. She kind of just dipped off on him. I went and picked him up because I grew up without a dad, so I want to be one. I want to figure out how to do this thing. So I take him, and he lives with me. He's been with me pretty much entirely 2 to 7 when I go away. I come back, and he was so cool. He didn't know I was coming home. I didn't even know I was going home. They just woke me up and said like, "Oh, you're leaving because of COVID and all that." I was like, "Bet I'm out."
So is that what it means to be pardoned? Is that because you were
I got
pardoned?
I got like commuted. So it was supposed to be like a furlough thing. They were supposed to send you home until whatever day, but they put me on house arrest like 2 days later. And I'm like, all right, so I'm thinking this is going to be on for like a month or two. It was on my leg for a year. Like I got it on in April 2020. They took it off April 2021, but I had to have a meeting with the governor and Josh Shapiro and all these guys because they were like, we got to figure out what to do with these guys. They just can't sit in this state of limbo
Yeah.
for so they agreed to like, you know what? If there's still, I think they've released like 100 something of us. By the time of the hearing, there was only like 80 something of us. So they was like, that many guys went back. Almost half the guys went back that fast. Cool. Let them stay there. The guys that's home, let them stay home. So took that off my ankle. The whole time I'm out here grinding. I'm just like training. I'm saving. I save up about $4,300 because I'm like, I know how to live off nothing now, right? I just did 7 years. That was my training, right? That showed me that I can live with very little. I'm out. I'm not going to bars because I'm on house arrest. I'm not trying to get at girls. I'm not. I just lived 7 years without this stuff. Most guys have the perspective of you went that long without that stuff, so now you want that stuff in abundance because you went that long without it. I looked at it like I went that long without it, so life showed me you don't need it to live. You don't
Hmm.
need a bunch of different women around. You don't need to get drunk. You don't need to get high. You don't need really expensive clothes. Just stay focused. Stay focused. And that's what I did. And I saved up. This first building cost me 3,600, and I was hyped. I had no equipment to put in the building either.
Yeah.
I gave him 3,600. I had 700 left. I'm like there, and I brought my sons in the same day, and I was like, this is how we're going to get to the next point in life, to where we can actually say that we have a thing. Because I'm the only business owner in my family.
Yeah.
Nobody else is. So talking to my son, I talk to my sons on like the daily. I always give them some sort of lesson and tell them the importance of time and quality time and the amount of time we spend together. All three of us have these elaborate handshakes. I give them all these handshakes just so each handshake ends in a hug. And I tell them when we hug at the end, make sure you feel it. Make sure you absorb that hug because eventually one day you're not going to feel my body anymore. You're not going to hear my voice anymore. I'm going to be gone. And I know I might look like the strongest man you've ever seen in your life, but I'm in a human body also. So when I tell you my sons give me really, really tight hugs, it's like it's a good hug. And
Yeah.
so they're just like, we watch our dad do this stuff.
Right.
And
They learned
you know,
from it. They're
yeah,
learning
when
from
they
it.
ask stuff about like their moms, I'm like, look, your moms did their best because I put them in a position to do a thing that's unnatural. They're not
Right.
supposed to have to raise you by themselves or get an outsider to come be in a relationship with to help take care of you. That was my job. I was supposed to do that with them, but your moms did what any mom would do that really loves and cares for their kids. They do what they got to do to make sure that they have for their kids. So I tell them like, don't blame your mom because I live different, because I take you to do different stuff. They did a thing that I put them in a position they weren't supposed to be in the first place. Right. Like, so I'm like, that's your mom. You love her, you respect her, you appreciate her because that's what she deserves. She didn't have to give birth to you. I showed them both, like, y'all know what abortions are, right? I'm like, this could have been you. You could have been aborted.
Literally tell my mom. I tell my mom that I thank her to this day for even
Yeah,
having me,
that's
because
it.
I know I couldn't if I I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it, and there I didn't have a great childhood, and I spent a lot of my years um just suffering because of that. It, now that I'm older, I thank my mom because she didn't even have to have me. Like, she did the best that she could with what she had.
Yes.
So I want to walk through a little bit. I want to go back really quick, and then I want to walk through kind of some of the things that you did to start changing your mindset. But so you had that moment, and that moment for me was when I was 22, and I got into a car accident. I had my car for 2 weeks, and I was shit faced. I had like 240s, couple shots. It was an Eagles game on. So I was driving home that night, and I turned in front of a car, and it T-boned me. I think that's what it's called. Like, hit me on my passenger side, like right where the doors meet, kind of. And I had at the time, my boyfriend at the time was in the passenger seat, and it knocked him unconscious, whatever. And I was like in and out of being blacked out. And there was a cop right at the intersection. I didn't know, and I just kept going. I don't even know how my car was driving at this point. So I look in my rear view, and there's like cop cars behind me. Like at this point, like, so it's a hit and run DUI. It was like the worst kind of DUI I could have gotten. My car was totaled. My literally, it was the moment that I seen my car in like literally smithereens, and the cops didn't even know how I got as far as I got. That I was like, there's no reason I should be alive. He should be alive. The person in the other car should be alive. And then that was a whole moment right there. Like, I'm not gonna get too vulgar here, but you are so dumb. Like, this is, I'm thinking to myself, and because this is not this wasn't the first like near death experience that I have put myself in, and I could have went to jail for the rest of my life. Um, and let alone died. But that would probably have been the best case scenario. So that was my moment right there. I was like, all right, I'm 22 years old. Just got to do better. And it was my angels that saved me. That was where I was at, because shouldn't have been alive. Anyway, I spent the next, I don't even know how long, just going through it, probation, court, all that stuff. I got the best lawyer. I should have went to jail. I was supposed to go to jail. And it was this one thing that I said when I was blacked out pretty much, that got me out of jail. This one little sentence. And the officer asked me, why didn't you pull over at the accident? And I said, I was looking for somewhere safe to pull over. I don't know where I got that from. I was in and out of being blacked out. But again, my angels, like, just the whole situation. I didn't go to jail, thank God. My little 5 foot tall
Yeah, what's up?
bitch ass me was not ready. Like, I thought I was a gangster. Don't get me, I really did. But
You
I
from
realized in
Delco
that
too.
moment, I
You from
am not
Delco.
a gangster at all. Like, if I went to jail, like, for that, like, and if I really had killed somebody, like, I don't know how I would have, my life would have been completely different. So that was at 22. It took me about 3 years to go through the motions of just changing. Like, oh my God, it was painful. Like, emotionally, mentally, physically. It was just all these different habits I had to start to develop and like force myself to do. By the time I was 25, I bought my first house. I was the first person, really, like, my mom had never owned a house. My grandma bought her house when she was like 50 or something. So this was like a big accomplishment for me and my family. And that was just the beginning of where I'm at today. So what are some of the things that you did in prison once you had that moment, that ultimately led you to be literally come out and just build an empire, just boom, just out of nowhere?
It is. It's actually a process that requires a lot of work, and none of us are taught to do it. And it's think about what you think about. Most people are just in the world, things happen, they react, right? Like, if I tell you a phrase, most people can finish this phrase. If you say, hope for the best, and the person says, prepare for the worst. And it's like, no, why would you do that? Where are you preparing for the best at? Because what happens if the best thing happens to you? Guess who's not prepared for it? You're not. But you're prepared for the worst thing to happen. So when the best thing does happen, it misses you like by a mile because you don't know.
Yeah.
You're looking for the worst thing to happen and you're just hoping. That's why I say hope and faith are like lazy people things. You can do that and sit on the couch. You can believe and sit right on the couch. You can believe you're going to be the next best rapper or singer and sit on the couch and not make a song all day. None of that stuff matters. So what I did was I thought about what I thought about. If I had a thought, I'd be like, where does thought come from? Why am I having this thought? Like, what's the importance of it? Right? And then I did another thing. And it's a thing that my closest people around me have watched me do. And they've asked numerous times, I go, how are you doing this stuff? And it's like, everyone can do it. Everyone. It just requires work. What's up? Everyone wants to be something, no matter who it is. Everyone wants to be something. Just ask them. Even if they don't necessarily know, they know that they want to be. If they can't pinpoint exactly what it is, they know they want to be something. If they don't know what career they want to get into, but they do know they want a career, right? If you're like, I want to live off the grid, cool. You want to be a person that lives off the grid. You want to be something. But there's this rule called be, do, have. in order to have the stuff, you have to do something to get it, but you have to be the thing in order to do it, in order to have it, right? So what I realize is who I want to be isn't right now. This person's in the future. This is a future person I'm talking about. This is future Brandon. I have to be future Brandon in right now. I have to take let me design what future Brandon looks like.
Do
Let
the
me
things that he would do.
let me say, like, this is how Brandon's going to dress. This is how Brandon's going to talk. This is how he's going to sit. This is how he's going to respond talking to people. He's going to be this way. It's not going to be that way. He's going to do all those things. Now, instead of me waiting for then, let me be that person right now, right? And all I did was took the future self and brought him to, I sped up the process by being that person right now and said, okay, now say I wasn't supposed to be that person for another 20 years. And then I was going to be even greater after that, after the following 20 years. I've now just shortened my time span and say, okay, now I'm that person now. So I'm going to be even greater in my first cycle of 20 years. That means I'm going to be even greater after that. So I just took my future self, brought it to my present day, said, like, I'm going to do it. I'm not about to wait. I'm not about to wait to, be who I want to be. I'm going to be that person now, right? I wanted my life to change. But most people want their stuff to change. They just don't want to do the thing that it requires for your life to change. And that's for you to change. Once you change, your world changes. You can change your people, your places, your things, and watch what happens after that. Watch everything change because you're not hanging around the same people, you're not going to the same places, you're not doing the same things. So by default, your whole life actually changes. You started going to the gym. Guess what changed? Your physique starts to change. Your mindset starts to change. You're like, damn, I can do stuff I didn't know I could do before. Damn, I look like this now. That stuff changes, but you had to change first. So all I did was shifted my focus and only worried about myself. Mom was like, my kids are fine. My kids are home with their moms. What can I do? I'm in prison.
Yeah.
If they fall and bump their head, I can't do nothing. Y'all better call 911 and get them medical attention. What I need to do is focus on me. I got super selfish. I was like, I'm only going to worry about myself. And I'm going to build Brandon up to be a particular way. So that when I get back, I'm more of a resource, right? I'm more of help versus a hindrance, right? I don't
Right.
want to just take from a thing. I want to give to a thing. I want to be able to offer my kids something other than gifts at Christmas time or their birthday for no reason except for it's just those days and we're just on automatic, life. So that's really what I did. I understood that I needed to change, but I needed to be that person faster. Now there's a process that happens, right? Once you tell life you want to be this thing, when you want to do it, life is so beautiful. It's like, okay, cool. Here was your opportunity. It'll give it to you and it'll give you a test to see how bad you want to be that thing. And if you pass the test, cool, you're on your way. If you fail it, you better hope it gives you another opportunity because you'll miss it and you'll never be that thing ever. So I got my first test by a guy I was booked with, and I passed it. Man, it was over something stupid. It was over laundry, but I didn't know conflict resolution. I'm thinking conflict resolution is fighting. That's it. And I wanted to fight him, but I didn't. I just went into the field, middle of the field on like a gator. It's like a golf cart, and I just revved the engine and I screamed at the top of my lungs because I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this guy. Like I'm gonna fuck this dude up, but I didn't. And then by the time I got back, he's there, and I'm thinking like, fuck it, I'm going in. And I'm thinking he's gonna be on some dumb shit. And he apologized for what he did with my laundry. He did my laundry for me, folded my laundry for. I'm like, damn. I was like, it was so surreal, and I was like, this is what happens when you pass your test. So I learned that I had to change myself. I had to bring my future self into my present day, but I also had to be aware enough to know when I'm being tested to be the thing that I want to be. So I know like I'm being tested right now.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I
That
pass this.
that that part. You have to be aware enough to know when you're being tested. That's the hardest part.
Yes. Life is so good like this. Now, the hard part for people is the things that we want to do feel good, whether it's, hang out with friends, hug your kids, party, whatever it is. You got to learn to prioritize what's important, what's not important, what serves you a purpose, what doesn't serve a purpose. One thing I recommend to everybody, not saying my way is the best way, but understand purpose and function. Understand purpose and function. Your phone serves a purpose and it functions a particular way. It turns on and off. It can send text. It can send phone calls, emails, or you can do all that stuff from your phone. The purpose of it is what you decide to do with it, right? So it serves a purpose because it allows you to communicate with other people that, around the world or wherever within your network of people. It only does that because it can function. Once it stops turning off and on, or stops texting, or stops calling, does your phone work? No. So why would you keep it around? It's pointless now, right? It's purposeless. It cannot function, so it can't serve your purpose. What people do is they'll keep people around that serve no purpose, and they cannot function in their life, right? Like they can't serve your purpose at all. Everyone in every relationship that you're in should be symbiotic. We're helping each other to build each other up. We're helping each other to grow, right? If how you function doesn't help me with my purpose or help with my function, what do I have you around for? You don't need to be around. And same thing with me. I do self-evaluate. I ask myself, how beneficial am I being to this person? And if I'm not beneficial to you, and I can see that I'm not beneficial to you, I'm gonna go ahead and get out your way. So somebody else that can be beneficial can come fill this space right here. People are afraid to leave things like that because they don't want to be uncomfortable. And I understand that. Let me get out of somebody's way, but also let me get somebody else out of my way. People are only in your life because you let them in there, right? So I do those things.
How many books did you read while you were in prison?
I have a majority of them. It's probably around 400 pounds of books. A lot of. I want a library. I want to have my own library.
You do? I love
Yeah, I
that.
want to have my own library. I have.
You left with a lot of them, right?
That's all I left with. They made me leave with my TV and my tablet, but I was like, I don't want any of this jail stuff because I'm never coming back here. And they hear it all the time. I'm never coming back. And I was like, all right, yeah, cool. Uh, they wouldn't let me give it to somebody, but I'm like, I don't need this TV. I don't need this tablet. All I need was the books because I don't watch TV now. I watch 7 years of TV. I'm cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can watch on there. There's nothing I can do on there besides
And it
watch
don't get
people
you
that got
nowhere.
paid.
It don't get you nowhere.
Those people that were watching on TV already got paid. I'm not getting paid by sitting there watching you. But again, I'm a purpose driven person. What purpose does it serve me to watch a person get paid? I don't want to be entertained
I
that way.
don't even know how to watch TV anymore, to be honest with you. I do miss watching TV. I miss like being wrapped up in a show and like being excited about the next episode. But I can't. Like I don't know. I just don't. It don't make me money. It's not helping me learn, and I just don't got time for it. When
If I
I do turn
want to,
it on, I literally fall asleep like a few minutes
yeah,
in. It's
put it on
back.
to go to sleep to, right? If I want to watch Martin, then I'm like, all right, I'll put Martin on. Yeah, I'll put on Martin. I'm cool. I
There are
introduce,
certain things that you
yeah,
could just like. I'll watch Friends over and over.
yeah. I introduce my sons to stuff like that because I feel like let me try to raise my sons with certain like '90s stuff, right? But I don't
Yeah.
I don't want to be entertained by this stuff. I'm cool. I look at life like if I mean it wasn't a shot at the people I was having a conversation with because not everybody can understand my ways. But it's because most people haven't met anyone so driven and so direct and know what they're doing and know where they're going and doesn't just let life happen to them, but makes things happen in life. I had pretty much just said like, if would a person make a movie about your life, and if they made a movie about your life, would someone watch it? And if you realize, you lived a pretty basic life and you did absolutely nothing. You did everything everybody else told you to do.
Yeah.
And you went where everybody told you to go and you wore what everybody told you to wear. You didn't even live a life. You were just a puppet. Somebody told you to do all this stuff and you trust them because of your family. And you're like, so I went to college because they told me to. And I got a career because they told me to. And I got married and I had kids and I did all the stuff that they told me to do. And now what? Now you're in your 40s and you're like, damn, I
It's the
missed out on all these experiences.
easy thing to do. It's the
Yeah.
easy thing to do, and it's a safe thing to do. It's a comfortable thing to do, and it takes
Yes.
and people like, I feel like people like me and you were a small percentage.
Yes.
It's supposed to be like that, because if everybody was like this, then there wouldn't be no money for us to make.
Well, I'd say people are bitches, and not like rude bitches. They're scared. They're scared, and that's one thing. It's hard for people to understand. They're like, "How are you like this?" I was
I think
born.
the worst things that I can imagine, honestly, some of the worst things at least, have already happened to me. I thought I was gonna die many times, like, and I didn't. So I just am like, I don't have any fear because of that. Like, I've made it through some of the craziest things that I never thought I would imagine making it through. And then when you make it through those things, first you go through it, and then you get through it, and then you realize, shit, like, I got a lot of
Yes,
power within me.
absolutely.
And so, what one the last thing I wanted to ask you was, what made you choose fitness? And was that always something you were interested in? And like,
I was working out at the jail, and one of the COs, she had stopped me on the walkway. I was studying to be a paralegal. I was like, I didn't know what to be. I was a young trapper. I go to jail. I'm like, all right, I need a job when I get out of here. So I'm like, I'm gonna be a paralegal. A guy puts me onto that, gives me some literature. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna study it. And I'm on the way to the law library, and she was a little CO. She was probably like 4 foot something, little woman. I would hope that she sees this. Um, she had said, she had asked me where I work, and I told her, and she's like, don't do any of that. Go home and open up a gym. She's like, I watched you work out in the yard. You work, you look like you know what you're doing. You got a nice body. If you own the gym, I will go to it. I'm like, but what do we do at the gym? I've never been to. I've only been to Planet Fitness and the Y. So I'm like, I don't
yeah.
know about training. I don't know anything about this. But again, the beautiful thing about life is once you shift your focus, you don't need to search for anything. Life will bring it to you. It'll give you everything. You just got to be serious about it. And anyone that is watching, as long as they pay attention to their life, they can reflect on it and realize, like, hey, you know what? Once I made my mind up about doing this, all this stuff seemed to just fall in place
Hmm.
because you made your mind up. And everybody gets everything that they always want. They just don't know that they're getting it, right? Even if somebody passes away in your life, you just don't understand the purpose of it, but it's part of the whole plan. Like, just
Yeah.
that's just part of it. So she tells me that, I start everything. I'm talking about books, people, all these things start coming to me. And I'm like, damn, like I must be supposed to do this. Right. So I'm just studying a lot, working out a lot, training a lot. I get known for that in there. By the time I get to Graterford, I start a fitness program there because I'm like, this is going to be my trial run for when I get home. If they let me start a fitness program like a gym here, it's going to be
Hmm.
easy when I get home. And they did. I went to them with my certifications, was like, yo, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do group training here. We need this equipment, whatever, whatever. They're like, cool, let's do it. We're going to sit down with you. You tell us the equipment. You just can't have anything that's like rod shaped, nothing that can be used as a weapon. All good. I got you. They're like, the max capacity is however many people. I get to the max capacity and they're like, nah, you can't have that many people because you're in prison. They're like, you can't crowd the gym with this many people.
Yeah.
No. So we stick with a number of 50 people. You only have 50 people at a time. But that's what I brought out, 50 people. And you got to come here and work out. You're not about to come over here and hang out with your homie, nothing like that. No, you're about to come work out. Real talk. There was only certain people I didn't bother there because I knew their situation and I knew the stuff that they were in. So it was just like, you go ahead, you do your thing. Only if the staff pulled me to the side and said, yo, you got to do something about that, I'll go talk to them. Everybody was always cool. Everybody always showed me love. I never had a problem upstate, like ever. But
Well,
guys recognize it.
you were coming from a place of value.
Yeah,
You could.
and I feel like people in prison get like a bad rap. Guys are super respectful. Guys are really respectful. It's a lot of etiquette, far more than's on the street. Actually, I came from prison. I got home and people were in prison on the street. Everybody out here is locked up in their minds. Like, I'm talking booked. And no one's as considerate as guys in prison. I'm talking like no one. Like, I'm telling you, you meet the most respectful, some of the most intelligent, some of the most courteous people in there. They just made choices. They just made different choices. You don't throw them away because they made different choices than you. Just know that that's the way that their life was supposed to go. but don't just leave them in there like they serve no purpose in life. I promise you, they could come home and serve any community far better than the people that are out now just trying to take from the community. See what I'm saying?
Right there, that takes me to a couple of years ago there was like something going around on Facebook. It was an article about a girl that was like around my age that was driving drunk, and she killed a cop, and it was horrible. Like
I
it
think I know this. I think I heard this.
Yeah, and this hit me, like
Wasn't
this
it out
hit
here? I think it was out here.
it might have been, I
I think it
forget
was out
where it
like
was at.
Avondale or West Grove or something like that.
It might have been. And reading what people were saying about her, I was like tore up. Like because like that girl's going to jail for a long time. Her life's over. But nobody knows how she grew up. Nobody knows what she went through. Nobody knows what kind of guidance she had, what kind of support she had. She's probably been drinking like that for a while and had
Try to
no
cover.
help and nobody, like, so it just was like really, I was like depressed for a week because so people were saying like how much of a piece of shit she was, and like what a like filth, like scum of the earth, and I'm just like, damn, that was me. Like that was
Yeah.
me. And that is me. Like I just didn't end up in jail. Like I just got lucky.
I don't think people are lucky. I think life goes exactly how it's supposed to go. We just want to understand it. Humans want to understand why it's that way. I'm sure that officer's family want to understand why he was taken. It's like that's not for you to understand. This
Yeah.
is why you appreciate the time that you have with people. Don't just take it for granted. Give
I got
people
the
hugs.
chance to
All that.
turn my life around and now help people. I get to change lives. Like I get to help so many people. I got so much power to help people and make such a difference in people's lives. And I can just pray. I pray for that girl that she gets the opportunity to feel that one day, even if it's from a different, even if it's from the inside or from a
Right.
different, you know what
I'm
I mean?
sure.
Because she's probably not a horrible person.
I think people have the ability to do all those things. You can be a really kind person. You can be, an unkind person. It's just your choice, right? You just have to decide to be that type of person, right? You don't have to, regardless of what neighborhood you live in, you can do something different. You don't have to do the same thing. You don't have to fall into the same fold everybody else fell into. And pretty much like I was saying, like you meet people, a ton of people meet me and they don't know I've been to prison
Right.
because I don't wear it. But that's an example that I give to people like, okay, that's why you don't judge people that do stuff different than you. Because you wouldn't know that I did that. You wouldn't know that I went away for that long. Most people watch other podcasts I was on, they're like, I didn't know you did that much time. I didn't even know you've been to prison. Because they're looking for some identifiable characteristics, right? Like posture or behavior or like some sort of like vernacular, some sort of like language, right? And it's like, no, I'm just choosing not to call everybody N word. I'm just choosing not to sag my pants, right? I'm choosing not to fit in with, you know, mainstream media says black men have to carry themselves like. I'm choosing not to do that because I get to choose what Brandon the man is like, right? I remember telling you guys that I don't use deodorant that says men on it. I won't use body wash if it says men on it. You don't get to tell me what men is. You don't get to tell me what a man smells like or anything like that.
You're
Let
the
me
only
choose
person I know that will wear a different team on your hat every day of the week, and it don't matter.
because I don't worship men. You know what I appreciate? I appreciate that those men do what they need to do to take care of their families. I'm not about to sit there and be like, get all bent up out of my emotions because they lost the game. That's not for me to care about because I don't want my sons to think you sit around and do nothing and you worship and root for these guys that you don't even freaking know. Actually, show up for your family, root for your family like that for whatever it is that they do because you know those people. Because I promise you, if the world ended, you wouldn't even be looking for your favorite player. You'd be looking for mom, dads, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, the same way those people would. So that shows you that you prioritize things the right way. You just are falling in the same path of everybody else because humans do this thing. We want to be accepted. So we do what people call trends, but it's just that for the people that know, it's just a social consciousness. Someone says everybody has to dress like this, or you live in that neighborhood, you all have to talk like this in order to be relatable to your peers. But like I said in the beginning, 99% of people, 98, they're trying their hardest to be regular. Like, which one do you want to? Everybody wants to be unique, but they also want to fit in. So this is the balance you got to have, trying to figure out how to still have something in common with your peers, but also be so unique and so different that you don't dress the same, you don't sound the same, you don't do the same things, and it's okay that I have friends that still drink, still trap, still do all that. We don't got to hang out, but
Right.
we might say like, "Yo, I love you, bro. Love you, cuz." Whatever it is, it's still all love. We just don't have to do the same things all the time, right? You got to get to a point where you got to grow up and say like, you know what? Let me do something different myself.
You said when you got to Greaterford, they let you um start the fitness program, and I feel like that took me to like when I walked out of the mortgage lady's office, and she said I could get a mortgage, and they
Yeah.
let me buy a house, and I was like, what? I cried. I was like, somebody let me, that she let me, she gave me the opportunity, she told me I could do it. As soon as I had somebody telling me I could do it and giving me that opportunity, it flipped a fucking switch. And I got that house, and I sold it 5 years later. And if I never made that one move, I had over 100 grand in equity in 5 years in my house. That house built my foundation for my son. I was able to come out here in Chester County, get him into an amazing school district from kindergarten, and he's going to be in that school district for his whole life. That's a freaking dream for me. Like, that's so normal to most people, but that is a dream for me, for my kid to be able to be in the same school district for his
Right. Yeah.
whole life. So it's just like it giving people the opportunity, and being being not scared enough to take the opportunity, because when I got that pre-approval and I was told I could get a house, guess what? My mom and my grandma weren't on board, and they were my only people.
Old school.
They
Old
weren't on
school.
board. They
Old
were like,
school
"Are you
people
sure?"
are like that. Old school uneducated people are like this because my grandparents were like this. They don't believe in credit cards. And they want to keep money in the mattress or underneath the mattress. They don't really want to deal with the banks. And I'm like, listen, that's back then. We're not living in that right now. So that's other people's problems where they bring the past in their future every single day. The past is in their present day. So they're living in the past, acting as if this stuff is actually applicable to today. Whether it's like my overly religious people that I know, where I'm like, yo, it is not 2,000 years ago. It is 2025, about to be 2026. Stop trying to apply some super old metric to right now, right? Go to the bank, try to apply something that was at the bank 30 years ago. Why they tell you, like, man, we don't do this no more? It's 30 years ago. Cut it out. So older people are like this. They don't, not every
If
older
I would
person.
have listened, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't have this foundation. And I never really listened to them anyway to begin
Good.
with, but
Well, they were
at
written
least
by
that
fear.
at least some of the decisions that I made that I didn't quite listen about,
They're the fear
got
culture.
me to where I am.
They come from the fear culture. They come from where you're so afraid. A really good friend of mine, her family raised her this way. If there's any risk, don't do the thing. I'm like, well, then don't even leave your house then. Don't
Well,
get out
guess
of
what?
bed.
So I bought my house, I settled on, and I was like 7 months pregnant. And then how do you think they felt when I quit my job after I had my son? I bought my house, and then I had my kid, and then I quit my job. And
Best
they
thing you
just
ever
thought I
did,
was
huh?
out of my mind.
Best
They
thing you
thought I
ever
was
did.
out of my mind. But I was working backwards. I was like, you know what? This is the life I want to live. I want to have a farm. I want my kids to be in a good school district. Da, 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 da. I want land. I'm gonna figure out how to get there. I didn't quite know, but I'm gonna figure out how to get there. I got my real estate license, and I remember my first year in real estate, I maybe had like one or two deals. Like, I wasn't making shit. And I said to a guy in my office, I said, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I said, I'm gonna have a farm. I want a horse. And he's like, you're from Delco. Like, you're all right. You're not get, he like laughed at me. He's like, you ain't never gonna have a horse. Well, guess what? A couple years later, I got my farm. I don't got a horse yet. But don't tell me I'm not gonna
Well,
have
that's
them.
because people can't see, right? People can't see things like that, right? So I relate our vision that we have in our life, like it was given to us and not them, right? So If we think of stuff like precious jewels and diamonds and gems and all that, there were people that were hungry looking for food, and I'm sure they ran across this stuff and gold in the ground, and all, but they can't eat it, so they threw it to the side like I don't know what this is, and they
Yeah.
went to find something edible. So they threw valuable stuff to the side to try to find something else. It's the same way with our vision, right? We already know, like we know what's valuable. Other people don't. Most people run by fear. They don't do a thing because they're like, what happens if I don't do it? What happens if this doesn't happen? What happens if that doesn't happen? It's like, what happens if it does? See, I'm that person. What
Exactly.
happens if it does happen? I don't
And
even
what's
think.
and what's the worst? I also think like what's the worst that could happen?
You know what? I think my life. Well, actually, not even a thing. I know
But I think like what's the worst that could happen in a way like what happens if it does is usually always better than what's the worst like it's not it outweighs what's the worst that could happen.
when you go through stuff, it shows you like nobody's about to die. I'm like, nobody's dying here? No. Nobody's going to jail here? No. So I'm like, this is just pens and paper and money in the bank. And we can just risk money. You know how many times I risked money for the gym? Every time I expanded the gym, I put all my money into it because I don't get loans from banks,
Yeah.
right? Because of my background. They're not necessarily so eager to loan money to, a felon. And I'm sure that won't be forever, but I'm still not like, I don't mess with the bank, the government, this, whatever. Man, I'm like, I don't do no, you know, complaining. I don't do no complaining, right? Doing that, to me, the world has no place for that, right? The world's got no place for complainers. It needs
Mhm.
people that are problem solvers, that are resourceful people, right? I prefer to be that person. So instead of like saying like, Sam, you'll never be that. I'm like, you know what? You want to be a millionaire? How many millions do you want? Right? Have a number because being a millionaire is just a general thing. I'm really precise. And I'm glad we're having this talk so you get have a deeper version of it. Have an exact number. Millions is general, right? Millions is a general thing. Have a number. Right. So my first millions I want to get that I want to see in the bank is 33 million. It's my first millions I want to see in the bank, 33 million.
Okay.
Because I'm really precise, right? If you know how maps works. You use Google Maps before?
Right. Ow.
When you use Google Maps, next time you go to put in a location, just put somewhere. Don't put a place. Type in the word somewhere.
Did something really come up?
I don't know because I've never done that. Why? Most people put in exactly where they want to go, don't they? And Maps takes you right there, won't it? Same thing with the stuff that you want in life.
Yeah.
Life,
I agree.
your mind doesn't know where you want to go because you haven't made your mind up yet. You haven't decided. So having a choice is you can do this or that. Deciding is I'm going to do that. Decisions and choices are not the same. People try to use them synonymously. Have an actual number. Say, I want this number by this time. Like I've made up when I'm going to be the first self-made millionaire in my family. I've put the age limit on it. I'm like, this is the age I'm
You
going to
do?
be.
You have a number in mind?
I put that. I'm like, this age I'm going to be a millionaire by this age. And then by this age, I'm going to see. And what I did with my phone is I made the background. The background says 33 million. It's just a black background that says 33 million. So I'm hypnotizing myself with every time I see it. There are certain people that are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And there are going to be people that's like, man, that's some bull stuff. You're supposed to go to church, pray, fast, this and the third. You can do that too, but do this stuff also because I know a ton of people that prayed and got nothing from it. It's like because you did nothing to get it. You
Yeah.
prayed and went and sat on the couch, or you prayed and went and played basketball, or you prayed and went to bed or went to the club. It doesn't do it. Pray also, believe also, to put some work in too. So don't just have a general thing and say I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be 100 millionaire, and I'm gonna tell you, perfect. You'll have it then, right? Life has to give it to you, but you got to feel it, right? You got to feel it. If you don't feel it, it won't happen.
And that's why that guy that told me that that laughed at me and told me I wasn't going to have a horse, he's never going to have a horse. He's going to stay in Delco forever.
And you know what I tell people,
Um,
that's fine if they don't want it. I'm like, you don't have to
yeah,
want
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'm like, bro, it's
But don't
cool.
tell me what I don't want and I'm
Yeah.
not.
Well, it's easier to shoot a person down because they're like, yeah, you're not about to get that, because then they got to look at it like, well, you're about to surpass me. You about to get past me. Like, what you mean you want to have this? You want to have a farm? Farms cost money. You're not about to have that. You want a horse too? You're not about to have that horse either. How about, you know what? I want you to have 10 horses. Right? Actually, get 10 horses and then teach me how to ride a horse. If I can help you get a horse, let me figure out how to help you get a horse. I'm like, the same energy you use to shoot a person down, just flip that. Use that energy to try to help a person. But that's the
So I
thing.
had real quick, and then I'm gonna ask my last little questions, and because I feel like we could talk for like 3 hours. But I had a couple years ago my friend Christiana. So I had just met this girl. I was pregnant. I was doing my real estate thing, and I also was like trying to open another business on the side because I was trying to help my friends, and like it was just this whole mess. But I had a cleaning business for a moment, and everybody bailed on me once I got everything up and going. So I was cleaning toilets, pregnant, and I started pulling some people in to help me. And I met this girl, Christiana, and she came to lunch with me one day to talk about how she could help me with the cleaning business and stuff like that. And we were talking, and the first things I always ask people when I'm like looking for help or whatever is like, what do you want to do? Like, what are your goals? Like, what do you like to do? And she had told me she loved to cook, and like her and her brother always cooked. And I think this was either right before or right after she lost her brother, who she was really close with. And she was like, I don't really know what I want to do. I just, I like to cook, and I'm thinking about maybe starting to sell meals at my house or whatever. And I'm like, girl, I'm like, sell it. Can you sell me some meals? I don't feel like cooking. Are you kidding me? And so I'm like, do it. Like, do it right now. Do it next week, as a matter of fact. All you got to do is XYZ, and hit me up. I'll buy all the meals, and then I'll start sharing it, and I'll get people on too. Like, so she was just like, what? Like you could just see her mind going or whatever. Long story short, this was 2.5 years ago. She opened a restaurant called Manny Vibes, in her brother's name, who passed away. And she's won Best of Delco 2 years in a row. Her first 2 years open, and it's like blowing up. It's amazing. It's just incredible what people can do when they have somebody that gives them a little bit of hope, and one little like spark goes off in their mind. They shift their mindset, and then 2 years later, she got a whole restaurant. She's about to open another one. Like, so 5 years later, after your release, gym. When I found your gym online, I'm like, oh, this is legit. Like, this been here for a minute. Like, okay, this is where I need to be. And then I got there, and you're like, it only been open for 4 or 5 years, and I'm like, what? And seeing what you came from, you said you started with the building, it was empty, and now you got all the best equipment, and you're still going. What's next for you? Do you? I mean, obviously,
Second
what's next.
location, we're working on this second one now. Just some stuff that's behind the scenes stuff. So I already got the building locked in. It's already mine. I'm a pretty good negotiator because, like, I'm like, what's the worst that happen? You say no, all right, then we'll just, discuss different terms, right? But I was a person born with favor, like everything I want, I always get it, right? Because I follow the rule. I'm a person, like I said, I'll tell life I want this. I want this thing. And it knows I'm gonna give it to Brandon because I know Brandon's gonna do what he needs to do to make sure it happens, right? So it's like, if you need something done, do you call the friend you can never count on, or do you call the reliable person? You call the reliable person. That just makes sense. This is life. Life is like, who's going to get this thing done, right? I'm going to have Brandon do it because Brandon said he wants it. I trust him because he's been through this stuff already. He's proved himself. I'm going to give it to him. When I got the second building, I was driving by. I was driving to see my son because I was in the area. I was coming from another speaking engagement out in like Thorndale or something. And I was driving by the building. It looked empty, and I hurried up and did like a super dangerous turn and pulled into the parking lot. And I couldn't get in the door, so I'm taking pictures of it. I'm sending it off to uh, people in the team, and I'm like, "Yo, I want this building." And they're like, "For what?" I'm like, "The gym." You want to move the gym? I'm like, "No, I want a second gym." My closest person, Caroline, she's like, "I thought we weren't going to try that for another 3 years." I'm like, "But again, we don't control the direction life takes us in. We just got our hands on the steering wheel of our life, right?" So I'm like, I need to get inside there. I need to get in contact with somebody so I can get inside it. Because again, I use my emotions to get me the stuff that I want. Most people will use their emotions to bring upon them their own demise. I use them to get me the stuff that I want. So we end up doing all this stuff. They did their due diligence. They get a number, get a hold of the guy. I'm like, I need to go inside the building. He's like, sure, go inside the building. I go in the building. I start laying it out. This is going to go here. This going to go there. That's going to go here. I don't have
Once
anything.
you have that in your head, you're gonna
Listen,
have it.
I emotionalize it.
Figure out how to get it.
Anybody that has children, if they imagine one of their children passing and it's in their mind, you can feel it. I understood that. Once you're having an emotional response, your body will act it out. But life has to give you that, it has to match that same feeling. So this is also why you gotta be careful with stuff you think. I went in, I used what I know to do in order to get the thing that I want. And then the guy's like, hey, how do we do this? I asked him flat out, what do you need to give to the bank so I don't shoot an offer too low? And he seen that I was extremely transparent as I am with everybody. He gave me the number. I was like, cool. I'll put an extra grand on it. And he's like, deal. These size of buildings, on average, probably like 30K a month. Just know I negotiated for a fraction of that. Right?
That's
Like
exciting. It
fraction.
was meant to
So
be. It
this
was meant to
building,
be.
this one's 5 times the size of the one we're in now.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's a large building. I've already put equipment in there now. I got more equipment to pick up Monday. They'll take it in there.
I was wondering what you were doing because with all this equipment, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
looking around like, how much more equipment can you fit in here?
I can't
You're
fit
gonna have a
these.
space in there.
We've got 11 new pieces and they can't fit in this one. It's definitely a challenge to do this, but this is the thing, like, not only because I love training the classes, that's like my thing. This is my space to be able to build friendships with everybody. So I want to continue to do, certain classes, certain training, but I'm stepped into the realm of owner delegator, right? We have people like Jenny, Manny, Freddie, Zah, right? We need to be able to produce great people also. Not only help people get their fitness and nutrition goals and their health in line, but when the people that want to assist those people, like the trainers, we need to help build them up too. So now you know that this tree produces good fruit because not only I saying this and doing this and backing up with my actions, the people that I train or that we train come out this way, and then the people themselves that are trainers, they're also coming out this way. So then you're just left with like, these got to be solid people. That's next.
That's
I
exciting.
plan on being. I'm gonna say. I mean, I've set my mind on top 25 in the country, being named in the
Okay.
top 25 gyms in the country. I
Okay.
told you,
You got it.
I set the bar really high because it has to be.
So when you were saying like you make a decision based off emotion, how it makes you feel. When I bought this house, so got this house like 3.5 years ago. When we moved from Delco out to Chester County, the same week I bought this house, I purchased a shore house for my mom. It was crazy. Like I almost lost the mortgage for my primary residence, but I needed this shore house. It was in January of that year. I was just looking on the MLSs where just looking at houses and stuff because that's what I do. And I had never like in my mind I always wanted a shore house, but I was thinking 10 years. And I don't know what happened when I seen this house. I really don't. I never even heard of the community before. Like I was not familiar with any of it, Airbnb and none of it. But something happened when I started looking at this house and I just started I'm like, what if I could get this house somehow and we could use it every summer? I could take my kids to the freaking shore every summer. That was something huge for me as a child. I always wanted to go to the beach. Like I didn't go to the freaking beach till I was like 12
Right,
with
yeah,
my friend's family. Like my mom couldn't take me. She was working. But like every year I was like really kind of bummed every summer, like hearing about all the kids going to the beach and all
right,
that stuff
absolutely.
like that. So like when I seen the shore house and I started to piece this in together in my head, I'm like, we could go to the beach at like did you know going to the beach with kids for a week is freaking expensive? It's
Expensive.
like literally like 3 months worth of mortgage.
Yeah, because they want to do everything. Also, you got to have a plan for them.
We were scrounging every year just to get a couple days in at the beach. whatever. It all started to click, and all this stuff started to happen. Like you said, you walked in, you started mapping it out. Like that's what was happening. It all happened in like a day, and I'm like, shit, I can get this house. I can figure out how to get it. I can Airbnb it, have it pay for itself, be a long term investment. I can put it in my mom's name and start building her wealth because she had never had the opportunity as a single mother to do that. And all this, it just all happened, and then all of a sudden I was buying two houses in the same freaking week. It was insane. But people never thought I was gonna have a farm and a shore house, a vacation home. Like I'm just like, now I feel like I can do whatever. Like I can literally do it. I could build a house if I want to.
That's the beautiful thing I love about life, right? Like every family just needs one. You just need one
Yes.
person to be that person. I don't make, to a point you had made earlier. I think I might have worded it wrong. I don't make any decisions based on emotion. I just
What
use
do you
them.
say?
I use them to get me the stuff that I want. Right. So
Okay.
I go into the building. I went into this building. I felt it. I felt the emotions. Right. No, I don't associate with negative emotions. You ever take one of those like personality tests, like the
Yeah.
Myers Briggs and all that stuff? I scored an absolute flat zero on neuroticism, and I didn't even know what neuroticism was. And it just said like I don't associate with negative emotion, and I don't. I'm like, take that stuff somewhere else, right? Because I've been at the lowest when it comes to negative,
Exactly.
right? I've been there to the point of self termination and planning to terminate my own self. I don't get into that no more, right? So I go in, I see all the stuff, and I don't even call it potential. I see what this thing is going to be. I was the same way with you. You said you started out, you sold two properties your first year. I made $19,700 my first year at the gym. It cost $14,400 to keep the gym, right? My car payment was $439.18. My rent at the place I was renting in this room, that was $700 a month. I had two sons, all of that. Does that sound like I was going to make that I was able to live? No, I was eating uh, Dave's Killer Bagels, and then I switched to Thomas Bagels because he had six in the pack. Thomas's Bagels, Skippy natural peanut butter, and Gold Standard protein powder. That was my meals every single day. I had no money for food. Every time I made money, I bought another machine. Every time. So like, if you look back at those photos, the gym and the Instagram, the gym looked empty, and I was really skinny because I wasn't making no money, and I'm eating
Yeah.
bagels all day. I got to spread six bagels out throughout this day with peanut butter and all this. Christmas is light,
Most people don't understand that
right?
sacrifice. That sacrifice. Most people can't
You gotta
go
give that
through that.
stuff up.
They can't
Absolutely.
handle it.
You gotta give that stuff
So
up.
when you walk around here all extra now, it's because
I'm
you can.
super. Well, I've always been like that, but I'm always, because I never thought low of myself. Never. I've always thought I'm the one. I'm like, and everybody should, right? We learned this thing. I'm a big word definition person because I learned that people won't like the definition of a word, so they'll change it to a thing that they like. And I'm like, well, if this was a test at school, you'd get that wrong, right? People mistake being proud with being haughty. Haughty is what people mean when they say proud. Because if your kid did something, you'd be proud of them, but you can't be proud of yourself.
What's haughty?
Haughty. Haughty is
Where'd you
like
learn
an
that?
exaggerated version of like almost like bigging yourself up for something you didn't even do. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Being proud of yourself is like you accomplished the thing you didn't think you were going to accomplish, and you did that with your own hands. Like building. Imagine when you build the house. Imagine you got your farm, you got your horses, and you're like, I'm gonna build a house on this farm that I got. You can be proud of yourself
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't, who's going to be proud of you, right?
Few weeks ago, somebody that I used to call a friend commented on this post on Facebook something about me. They said that I was only in real estate because as like a last resort to not be in jail. And like it was corny. It was
I'm
so
like,
corny.
yeah.
Because first of all, that's not even the fact.
I
That's not
said,
even the case.
yeah,
But
for
second
sure.
of all, the corny part was like she said this because she thought it was an insult and she thought it was gonna make me look bad. And it's like, first of all, I wear that shit like a badge because I could have had a completely different life, but look what I did. I did 10 times more than you who had everything I didn't have. And then and the other side of it is like, if clients see that about me and don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with them either, because you're judgmental and you're not my type of people. So it was just funny. Like, you really thought you were insulting me, but I did so much more with hella less than you had, and I wear that as a badge of honor.
I've learned from some pretty successful people. Their way of looking at things are like, if you've never been through anything, I can't trust you.
Yeah,
I don't want.
I don't even anymore. I don't even like people.
Well, you don't have. I think with the thing that people confuse why they don't understand that, it's like, well, you've never done anything. You did everything everybody told you to do. You don't have any real life experience. Whereas at least I went out there and tried to do something and failed at whatever it was multiple times. You've never done anything to fail at anything. You did what everybody told you to do. You took the
Yeah,
safe route. Life, remember this one thing, life does not reward the easy way. It does not reward the easy way. If you think about tax code, if you think about people that's really up like that, these are all entrepreneurs. It can be an athlete, an actor, a musician, whatever. These are people that are doing something a lot of us can do. They're paid millions of dollars to do a thing a lot of people can do. They're just not afraid to do it. Right? And that's what it is. They took the hard way. And life's like, here you go. Right? The country wasn't built on employees. It was built by them who were instructed by an employer. There were entrepreneurs that built this thing up. The employees, they're just the workers. You'll find millions of people that want to be that, and that's fine. But who's going to delegate them? Who's going to put these things together and say, "Yo, we need to do this, 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 and this." Right? There has to be those. Without that, there's no America. There's no economy. There's no rules to really follow in a thing. Right? There needs to be people like ourselves to say, like, you know what? To me, I don't even think of being a risk taker. I don't even think I'm a risk taker. I'm just a doer.
yeah,
Right? I'm a doer.
I
I'm a
know.
life liver. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't imagine doing anything.
I'm very like, when people are just like, I'm just like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
Just do it.
I just be like, oh, bro, you bitching, right? I don't do no stop bitching. I get into a thing, I do no bitching, like at all. And I'm the same way with my sons. They do a thing, I'm like, yo, stop bitching, bro. Real
Yeah.
talk. Like, I'm like, we don't have time for this. We don't got time to be scared. You can't even imagine. You can't put a number on how long you'll be dead, but you can guarantee you'll be dead before 100. You'll definitely be dead before, if you live after that, you'll definitely be dead before 150. You can put a number on this.
Well,
So knowing
I
that
think
you
that's
got
it.
this little bit of time, you better get busy.
Saying, I hear you. And I am thankful that we crossed paths, because when I stepped into your gym almost a year ago, I was, like I said, I was in a really, really bad spot. And I know you know that you're changing lives, and I know I'm changing lives. However, when you hear somebody like tell you, like, stepping into Morpht, like, literally was the driving force behind me being able to
Appreciate
turn
that.
my shit around over this past year, like, literally was, it was the first step. It was the first step for me. And then I just followed it throughout this whole year. This whole year has been a journey for me. And
You
Morph
turned it
was
over. You look totally
the
different, right?
first
Like
step.
in your mindset is just different. Like everybody, I watch everybody, and I'm like everybody. That's what I do for a living. I tell people what to do, and I watch them. Right? Everybody's doing like such a great job. I can critique a ton of people, but I only do it if a person wants. Right? Like if a person wants me to critique them or wants advice, then I'll give them the advice. Right? But I'm like, only ask me if you plan on applying it. Like, don't
Yeah.
ask me because you just want to hear something. Ask me if you're serious about this advice and this information, how you're going to apply it to life. And the thing is, just try it. If you did everything your parents told you to do and you did it and it didn't get what you wanted to take you to,
Try something
try
different.
something else now. Right? Try something else. Like, hey,
Yeah.
why not? What do you have to lose? You already gave 30 something years of your life doing stuff those people's way. And they came from an older time where they could barely even do the stuff that we can do now. See what I'm saying? So it was like, why not?
I think this is so this little podcast is like my little, it's just a passion project. Like, I'm not trying to go viral on my podcast. It's going all into the, like, I in 20 years I'm going to be, I got all different things that are going to be happening. This just ties into it, right? So, but the main point, like the main thing that I want to be doing with this podcast is inspiring people who are in all walks of life to make whatever changes they need to make and give them the motivation to do that. And I particularly like really helping young people. Like my intern right now, she graduated from the high school that I graduated from, and she is in college right now. And it's just really cool because she's so awesome. She graduated from my same high school, and she comes from my same community and the same kind of upbringing that I did, and she's doing amazing. And I just want people that come from where I come from and have been through some things and think that there's literally no hope. I also tried to take my life. I was 14. I was very young. Thank God that it didn't happen. And then I put myself in positions for years after that to I didn't care like if my life got taken. But if any of that came into fruition, I wouldn't be able to share this your story, my story. And there's always people when I share something or a podcast or a post and I'm vulnerable. It's hard for me sometimes, but there's always people that hit me up and they thank me and they tell me some of their story and they tell me why hearing what I said helped them, and that's what I do it for. So I think that this is my favorite episode now. I'm
For
only at
sure.
episode 11, but I'm only real new to this. But and I'm literally my setups in my. I almost didn't start this podcast this year because I don't have a whole formal setup. I don't want to learn how to do all that technical shit. But then I got to the point where I was like, I'm never gonna do it if I don't just do it. So. I got my laptop. I'm recording in my son's room today. Like I'm
That's
just doing it.
that's the
Um,
good thing.
and every single episode and every single guest and conversation is fulfilling for me. So thank you.
I don't think you need it. The gym started at the opposite end of the street that it's on. So the way you park, when you drive, when you leave the gym and you drive to the stop sign, right? And there's a three-way and you turn left. When you turn that left, there's a left, there's a giant parking lot. There's a building on your side, it's got big glass windows. I came home to that building. I lived in that building. I trained in that parking lot right there. The gym started right there.
It's crazy.
The gym started right there. I had that red kettlebell that's in the gym, that small 20-pound kettlebell that's in the gym, and me. I'll be outside working out with a house arrest ankle monitor on, shirtless and all that, trying to get people to
Getting it done.
join it and all that. That's it. So like you don't need some super elaborate setup. Someone tells themselves that so to kind of hinder themselves from starting the thing, like, oh, I don't have this, I don't got that. Man,
Yeah.
if you got a phone, we got computers now in our pockets. You got a phone or whatever. I mean, I could have went to the park and said like, all right, I'm gonna just start recording myself doing workouts in the park, which I did. I was like, yo, we're gonna work out in the park, right? I'm gonna show y'all calisthenics stuff because I come from prison. That's mostly what you got, calisthenics. I'm gonna show you how to get ripped without the weights. Right? I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you that, and it starts from that. So you're starting in your son's room, perfect, and then post that stuff and keep all that. So then when you're in a giant studio thing, you're like, man, it started in her son's bedroom. How you know that? Look, scroll back on the page. Look,
Yeah.
people call that humble beginnings. I'm like, man, that's just the beginning, right? Just because it looks like this now, don't mean it's gonna be like this forever. And I wouldn't say, don't tell yourself like this is just a recommendation. Don't tell yourself, I don't plan on going viral with that because in anticipation that you don't go viral with that, to try to prepare yourself in case you don't go viral with it, right? Just do it because you love to do the thing.
Yeah.
It'll grow from there. Plant the seed, germinate it, but don't keep digging it up, right? Because it's going to slow down the growth process, right? Plant the seeds, cultivate it, let it grow, still keep doing your other things while you're doing that. And just let it do what it does.
Amen. All right. Morpht Fitness is in West Grove, Pennsylvania. If anybody wants to check it out, I think I already got you a few members to the
Appreciate
gym
it.
since
For
I've been
sure.
there,
For sure.
and I'm
Yeah.
gonna get a few more in there. Where else can we find you? Instagram. What's your Instagram and everything?
Instagram, Morpht Fitness, MORPHT_fitness. We are legit the only, I spelled it this way. So when you type it in, you're only going to come across us, right?
Intentional.
Facebook, I think it's my name on Facebook. We have a Facebook page also. If you've been there and you visit us, go to Google, leave us a review. Absolutely. Like, leave us a review.
Well, I'm gonna do that today.
Yeah, for
I'll do it
sure.
today.
If you come in and you're like, yeah, I just want to check the gym out, hit us up. I'm always giving free day passes out because that's just like my thing. Like I'm like, just try it out. I appreciate you even coming. You drove from wherever you drove from.
You had a good marketing tactic to get me. You were like, what was it like? You were like a free
It's like
several
seven.
classes.
Yeah, it's like 7 classes.
But then like
Sometimes you
by
do.
the third class, I'm like, all right, just sign me up for a year.
You do one or two. Sometimes people offer free stuff if you post them in the gym doing something. I'm like, no, I'm gonna just give you free 7, just for the love, just because I love you. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I treat everybody like they're my family immediately, right? I love them, and I want everybody to do better.
The vibe was right. I will say that because if it wasn't, I wouldn't have came back.
Yeah,
I remember I walked in, I was so nervous, but I was just like, "Hi, hello," and you were friendly, and it was cool. And then from there, everybody was really nice, and
that's
so
my
it is a
thing.
gym. It is a gym for anybody and everybody for real.
But that's one thing I love about it, that the gym isn't for just one. It's not supposed to be for a certain nationality of people or just meatheads or just cardio people. It's supposed to be for everybody. To where you leave your bullshit outside, leave your politics, leave your religion, leave all that stuff inside. Doesn't mean it doesn't. It's not a part of you. We
Right,
just don't get into it in here, right? Like we don't need to get into that in here. You don't need to bring your stress in here. Use that stuff. Use this to shut your mind down for a second. Get that other stuff off your mind. If you need a person to talk to me. I'll talk back. Real talk, like I'll help you with anything I can help. If it's advice, if it's you just want somebody to talk to, I got you. I'm a really good listener. I'm a really good listener. Real talk.
you talk shit back sometimes,
I
but you're
talk
good.
hella
I love
shit. I talk
it's
hella
all good
shit
though.
because I'm like, you know what? People need to lighten the hell up. I'm like, yo, lighten
No, I
up.
agree.
My favorite
I
thing,
agree.
one of my favorite things to say to people is like, yo, gangsters smile too, bro. Like, damn. I'm like, yo, y'all. I'm like, I met killers, deliberate killers, not accidental killers. They laugh and they smile. I'm like, I
Yeah.
get it. You got something bad going on in your day. Damn, smile about it. Be
Hmm.
grateful that life chose you to do it, to go through it. You could have a super easy life and be bored as ever with it. So I'm like,
I agree. All right. Well, thank you so much.
absolutely. Thank you.
And
Thank you for allowing me to be on here.
this is my longest episode to date.
Because it's me.
I'll
You
have you
gotta go.
back. We'll talk about some other shit some next time.
All right.
And I'll see you at 6 a.m. on Monday.
Perfect. I'll see you Monday.
All right.
All
Thank you,
right. Have a good
Brandon.
one. Bye.
Bye.